Okami is a game and a genre that I never had too much experience with, as I grew up playing FPS games as well as Western RPGs, and never really got to play things like Zelda or Spyro. After hearing enormous praise and seeing the amazing visuals though, I thought I needed to give this game a try, and that maybe it could broaden my scope of video games. What I can tell you is that I wasn't prepared for the journey I was about to embark on. Released in 2006 by Clover Studio, Okami is an action-adventure game in the vein of Zelda, but set in a world heavily inspired by historical Japanese culture and folklore. You take the place of Amaterasu, the god of all things good in this world, who happens to be in the form of a white wolf that many humans know as Shiranui. It's been 100 years since you and a fabled hero defeated the dreaded demon Irachi, and while the locals still celebrate this legend, their peaceful lives have led them to stop believing in you. Without belief, God's powers wane in this world, and this couldn't come at a worse time, as an unknown buffoon has accidentally unleashed the dreaded Irachi once again and set loose a demon horde that's primed to bring about an unending era of darkness and evil. To retake the world, you'll have to regain all the godly powers you once had, take the fight to the demons, and inspire the people of this world to once again believe not only in you, but in themselves too. Throughout the 34 or so hour runtime of this game, you'll be able to master 20 plus godly world-altering brush techniques, acquire 15 different weapons, and explore a number of unique environments with all manner of stories and secrets to uncover. First and foremost, we can talk about what makes Okami unique and stand out on its own. In this game, you have the ability to pause time and paint on the world as if it were a canvas to achieve all number of things. As the game progresses, you unlock a huge arsenal of brush techniques that will truly make you feel like a god. Water, fire, lightning, wind, and even time will be at your beck and call, and you'll need them all in order to unlock the world and defeat the many demons in it. This painting style goes perfectly with the gorgeous graphics that this game has. Every frame of the world looks as if it was hand painted, and every new character and environment oozes charm. The vibrant colors burst off the screen, and getting to see the ins and outs of new villages, coastlines, and mountain passes is worth the price of admission alone. What makes this even better is the bloom mechanic, where you get to return tainted parts of the world to their former lush selves. Broken bridges, withered trees, and dilapidated cities will all come to life once you banish the demons from them. I can't say I've ever played a game that uses this idea so well. Seeing each area, as well as all the characters in them progress on their own journeys, was beautiful and never got old. A huge cast of lovable characters is showcased, and all of them feel as if they have a unique story and past for you to uncover. Just when you think Okami has run out of steam, it pulls what nearly amounts to a whole game's worth of interesting lore and abilities out of nowhere and surprises you once again. The story takes way more twists and turns than I expected going in, and at some points leaves you awestruck with just how creative and genre-bending it gets. You really begin to feel for some of the cast by the end of the journey. Some of my personal favorites were Isun, your comedic sidekick through most of the game, and Susano, a lazy warrior that coasts off the clout and achievements of his ancestors. Okami masterfully manages its tone and almost always gives you lighthearted fun while still maintaining an underlying narrative that feels epic and tugs at the heartstrings. I did, however, say it almost always does this. There were a few sections of the game that I feel came off as mildly pervy and unneeded, such as this one. The story does sort of redeem these moments, but not enough for them to not stand out a little bit. Luckily, these sections make up such a small part of the game that it doesn't really distract from the full experience. Another possible issue with the game is that it only runs at 30 FPS, and it appears that there are currently no patches or fixes that change this without altering things like the game speed as well. This is due to Okami originally releasing on the PlayStation 2, and being forced to run at that speed because of the console limitations. At the time, the game did not really sell well, and due to this, the budget for the HD remake that came out a few years ago was not provided with the resources needed to fix this issue. I personally didn't feel like the framerate hindered my experience with the game at all, possibly due to the unique art style, but some may find this a problem. On the plus side, the HD remake has allowed the game to be released on pretty much every platform, and at high resolutions and max settings, this game is a true sight to behold. Aside from the graphics, this game has a number of in-depth mechanics that really help it shine. The combat, while fairly easy, has far more complexity than I would have expected from a game of this style. As mentioned earlier, you can unlock or buy 15 different weapons and equip them to main or secondary slots that all amount to different effects. Some weapons even give you new brush techniques or a shield that allow you to dispatch your foes in new and cool ways. Exploring the world will see you unlock a wide variety of items, weapons, and powers as well that will aid you in combat and in a number of methods like upgrading your weapons, buffing yourself, or unlocking secret areas. You'll also stumble upon dojos that will allow you to learn all manner of new techniques and fighting styles, even letting you do silly things like pee on your opponents for style points. Battles are always fast-paced and fun in Okami, with a sort of point system constantly ranking how you perform and rewarding you for taking less time and damage throughout. The game rewards you for being creative with your kills, and many enemies will actually require a variety of weapons and techniques to take them down. Outside of combat, Okami has a good amount of fun minigames and quests that'll keep you entertained. I've displayed some of them in the video, like fishing or the Spelunky Bomberman style game that change up the flow and keep your playthrough refreshing throughout. Many times, you'll have to explore off the beaten path to see these minigames and side quests, but it's always worth it as they occasionally have great story moments or new powers and areas to see. Once you're done with the game, there's even more still. Extra powers, weapons, concept art, and even behind the scenes dev footage is unlocked beating the game. New Game Plus is also available so that you can use all the epic gear you've unlocked from the start. And, depending on the grades you receive for a variety of stats like deaths and money collected in the game, you'll unlock even more. Topping all this off is a ridiculously good soundtrack. Some of these songs have me looking to add them to my actual playlists, and that says a lot considering I don't usually listen to soundtracks much outside of these games. Personal favorites of mine are Orca's theme and Shinshu Fields, to name a couple. What you're getting with Okami is a real epic of a game. It's clear when playing that these developers had a clear and unique idea in their head, and they truly succeeded with flying colors at realizing it. Some of the scenes here are ones that I'll remember forever, and I now am determined to play the DS spiritual successor that released just based on how good this was. For all these reasons and more, I'm giving Okami a 10 out of 10.